Chris Paul gets in, another wide open three.
Pierre Cardin.
Defers to Booker for the long range.
Phoenix. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. Phoenix. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the valley, it ain't nothing but a thing.
Welcome, everybody, to the Aussie Suns Fans podcast on this beautiful Sunday afternoon, the day of another Phoenix Suns victory. I'm your host, Gavin, and we are joined today by Nate. Welcome back again, Nate. You're getting a bit of a run on you. You're here all the time now. You're back to being a regular.
Pretty much rolled straight out of bed onto the show, but that's fine.
Best way to do it, mate. Best way to do it. Hammo, how are you going, my friend?
Going very good, guys. Glad to be back. Glad to be able to talk some Suns after another good couple of days of basketball.
If you are online now or checking it out later, whatever the case may be, do us a solid, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the page, do all that sort of shit that we always ask you to do, because you're letting us down by not doing it. We want lots more likes and lots more subscribers. So hit us up, fellas. Let's get it going. Let's get stuck into it. This week in Suns basketball, let's wrap up these games. So since our last pod, we had the Hawks, the Celtics, and the Pistons. Obviously, the Atlanta game we want to ignore as much as humanly possible. I think that was, I think that was just a scratch it and forget it type game. The lads weren't there. It just wasn't there. So, but
I
the Celtics,
on our Wednesday pod too, I picked it as a win because Trae Young was meant to be out, but Trae Young was well and truly back.
So we, but the Celtics and the Pistons games today, absolutely fantastic. For me, I think out of those two games, what really stood out to me is we just had a fantastic balance on offense. The balance between our inside, taking the ball inside and trying to score in the paint, and then the actual outside shots that we took, we weren't taking those forced, heavily contested shots from the outside as much in these two games, and we really used the shot clock quite well to put scores on the board. What were your thoughts of the games this week, Hammo?
Didn't get to see a lot of the Atlanta game, unfortunately. Well, no, kind of probably good. I got told by the fellas in our chat that it was a snuff film, and don't put myself through it. Cheers to those guys. I did watch the highlights, and yeah, you weren't fucking wrong. Yesterday was a beautiful game. Celtics always, I don't know what it is about the Celtics games, but there's always good value, whether it's a blowout, whether it's a win, whether it's close-knit, whatever it is. It's just the Celtics games are always fun to watch, man. That was a good game. Today, man, that was crazy. You're talking about different plays and not relying on certain things and that. But the first couple of plays, can't remember the name that it's called, like the side cut alley or something, but we were running the ball straight in from the 3-point line instead of jacking up shots. Like, we were just driving the hard way down the bottom of the court to get to the rim, and I think that caught them by surprise and really gave us a bit of an advantage to start things off.
Nate, how'd you say the week, mate?
Well, straight off the bat of what Hammo just said, I think I texted you not that long ago. Said I woke up this morning, because obviously I'm not in Australia, the little Bleacher Report saying Suns beat Detroit in the fourth quarter. I'm like, shit, I missed the entire game. So I rolled out and started watching it straight back before I jumped onto this, because this popped up on me pretty quick as well. And the first quarter looked really good. What stood out to me was DA's start. More aggressive, getting it inside. It just, and again, now that only having watched 2/3 of the first quarter to comment on, that's what stood out to me to answer your question. For those that are wondering too, if I did just roll out of bed while I'm drinking wine, it's breakfast juice. It's what we do here. It's how we survive on this pod. I did want to say I felt vindicated though after last week's pod, watching the Boston one back. And you know exactly where I'm going to go with this, Gav. Sabian Lee.
It's not Sabian. Come on.
watching the because I watched on League Pass and I had the Boston commentators on, and it's good when they're not national media and they're the local commentators because you hear some weird shit. The Boston guys had Damian Lee and Sabian Lee on the court at the same time, and even they started going Sabian Lee at one point. And I'm just like vindicated.
Yeah, well, he's done all right in the minutes that he's had, but I just wanted to bring this one up again. And there was a bit going on in our chat today about Dario as well, and he's been really good in these last couple of games. I mean, look, let's be honest, the Boston and the Detroit lineups suit Dario because they have got those bigger bodies that are a little bit slower, and it allows him to be on the court. Where some of these other teams, from a matchup perspective, you can't have him out there because he gets destroyed. But the thing that's really impressed me has been, and look, we knew it anyway, but because we missed it last season, it was tough. But his passing in these last few games has just been sensational. His connection with the other big guy, his connection with the other big guy on the floor has just been phenomenal.
He had a noticeably improved pull-up from three as well in the Boston game from what I was seeing.
He just had a bit of rust, man. That's all it was. We've got a new owner. He's fighting for his job kind of thing if he wants to stay here. So he's balling out, showing what he can do. And it's been really nice. Like there was that pass inside to, I think it was DA. Could have been Landale right under the basket today. Yeah, beautiful, man. Just beautiful. His passing's been incredible. His shot selection's been better. His defense, his speed, everything. He's just really balling out, man. It's good to see.
And the other thing that's really come out, I mean, we're 8-2 in our last 10 games, and I think during that 10-game patch, the thing that's really stood out, and everybody's starting to talk about it, and we're seeing more and more of it, is the emergence of Mikal Bridges as an offensive threat. Now, pre this run, he was struggling, and I made some pretty big claims on here that I just didn't think that Mikal was anything more than a 15-point per night and a defensive type player. And that was okay because that's what his strength was. But he's certainly sure as shit proved me wrong in the last 10 games.
He pulled about 6 games in a row out of his ass over 20, 25 points.
He has grown so much, man. We thought he was at that level. We didn't realise he's only been in second gear. He's incredible to watch, man.
The big thing is that, and I think what's been noticeable is that switch in the confidence. I think before, when he was trying to become that second option or trying to be the person that stood up for Book, he wasn't probably as confident in himself of playing that role. But now all of a sudden he's just and he's right. Mikal right now is absolutely a bucket. He has the confidence. He's not hesitating on his shot. He's not hesitating on his shot. He is just doing everything with full confidence in his ability to play the game. And it's awesome to see. Third, I suppose. Well, actually, because I'm going to nominate this bloke as the player of the week. So let's go into player of the week. Who was your player of the week over the course of this week?
Oh, shit.
Hammo.
You better go first, Hammo, because I really don't have one at the moment.
It's a tough decision. It really is. DA's been on fire. Mikal's been on fire. But I've got to give it to Mikelbo, man. I think he's, as I was saying before, he's just exploded with growth and talent, like even much more so than what we knew he had. I've got to go with Mikal.
Hammo?
He just answered mine would be Nate, but that's fine too.
You're a Mikal man for player of the week as well?
This week I will go Mikal because it seems like only a few days ago I said CP3. and we put Mikhail up for
It
notable
was only
mention.
a few days ago, really.
Yeah.
We only
So
played
you're
Wednesday.
player of the week. It's player of the last 4 days.
There's been 3 games.
So I'll just flip the switch and go over to Mikhail this week, this part of the week. Just because.
And that's a good one. Well, I'm outvoted, so clearly I will award Mikhail Player of the Week in a minute. But my Player of the Week is Chris Paul again. So all of you goddamn, I'm going to go on my first rant of the day. All of you goddamn naysayers that fucking said that Chris Paul was over the hill and he's washed and he's fucking fit. I notice you're not out there on Twitter anymore posting your shit. Why? Because while Chris Paul started slowly this season, and honestly, I still think he probably was a bit sore and he was working his way into the season. But since he's come back from this injury, Chris Paul has been the absolute point guard that we know he is. He has absolutely dominated. He didn't hit a field goal today, I don't think. He didn't hit a field goal. We will talk about this, Jake. So he didn't hit a field goal today, but he had something like 14 or 15 assists. And he just absolutely facilitated the game today. He set it up. And he's been phenomenal since he's got back from injury. And again, this week in those 3 games, he was pretty much the only one in Atlanta. And these last 2 games, he's just been great. So, but I've been outvoted.
First 4 minutes today, man. It was just, or even if he wasn't credited with the steal, he created the situation to get the ball off the opposition. And like 3 assists or something as well in the first couple of minutes, man. It was just bullshit.
He's he's been fantastic, but I've been outvoted. Mikal Bridges is our Player of the Week. Great to hear that your daughter's loving the Aussie accents. Sorry.
Congratulations.
This week, the games coming up this week, we've got Brooklyn, Atlanta, and then I think we're back home to Indiana. No, Indiana will finish off the home stand. The away stand, sorry. We got 5 on the road. So, obviously, there's a little bit going on in Brooklyn at the moment.
Bit of a shit show?
Bit of a shit show, but they had a fantastic win today, coming from 25 down today to roll whoever they rolled. But then Atlanta, obviously, we need to respond. We all saw how this side responded to the Celtics loss. So hopefully we can see that against the Hawks again. And then Indiana, where, of course, we got Tyrese Halliburton and Jalen Smith, everyone's favourite people that are non-Suns to Suns fans to talk about. How do you see this week going? How do you see this week going, Hammo?
Yeah, the Brooklyn game's going to be interesting. You really don't know what's going to happen there, man. You just don't. But Atlanta, I'm looking forward to getting a little bit of retribution. If we play like we played the last 2 games against them, then it should not be a problem. Indiana has been fun games the last few times that we've played them, so that I'm looking forward to that as well. But I think the highlight game of the week will be the rematch against Atlanta. I think that'll be the one to watch.
Nate?
I actually want to kick off with Voida's comment. There was Kyrie coming to Phoenix this week. I'm just looking. This guy on the Lakers aren't in town for a little bit. Anyway, look, I want to mathematically say 2-1. However, I kind of also feel like I could Boyd up on this one and go 3-0. So, in the spirit of Boyd not being here, I'll be the optimistic one and go 3-0 in the next on the road. Is there any further gossip on an actual Booker return?
So basically, if you go off the back of Flex, who was just on the Suns Jam Session podcast, he has basically confirmed that Booker will return against Brooklyn.
Right.
I'll tell you what, for people who didn't watch that cast with Flex, it is a must must see. Get on Suns Jam
Okay.
session, check it out with Flex. It is amazing. There's a lot of information to digest, man. And thankfully, I'm going to piggyback off most of what he said. So thank you, Flex.
Yeah, I think we'll
Flex
do a
and
little
trust.
bit of piggybacking coming up in a couple of topics' time. I'm also going 3-0. I think Book returns and does what Book does. And with Mikhail now where he is, we'll see a drop, obviously, in his offensive output. But I still think that Mikhail now has proven that he can be that 20-point-a-game type player rather
100.
than the 15, 12 to 15. So it'll be really interesting to see. But hopefully we just set up. I think our offense has really started to hit its stride again. And I think we're going to go on a bit of a run here over the next couple of weeks and get back to streaking, which is what we all enjoyed last year. A lot of Suns streaking.
Floyd did a new streak on the last pod we did.
Yes, he did. And we'll talk about this one in a second as well, about the Lakers and everybody else and the info that came off the back of Flex. This week also, Saban Lee replaced Dwayne Washington Jr. on our two-way contract. We spoke about the two ways before. Justin gave me information that was wrong on our last pod and made me look like a fucking dickhead. The good thing
I didn't accept the invitation to be here right now.
That's right. The good thing was that he also did a pod that night that we did and said the same shit on his pod. So fucking suck shit. What were your thoughts on it probably didn't tear Suns Twitter apart like I thought it might. I saw bits and pieces on comments and whatever else, but it wasn't crazy out there. But what's your take on the whole Saban Lee replacing D-Wash? You happy? Sad?
Me? I mean, who? I think back to when we lost Derek Jones Jr. Yeah, we didn't mind having him, but we didn't miss him at all.
Well, the funny thing was the one time I really saw a couple of comments that made me laugh was after that Hawks game. Apparently, if Dwayne Washington Jr. was still on our roster and played, we would have beaten the Hawks. He was all of a sudden Devin Booker.
I mean, I have to eat my words from the pod like 3 days ago, whatever it was, saying that Sabian, doesn't matter what you call him, he's not going to be on our team any longer. Well, now I'm going to have to make a conscious effort to separate the two Lees. But the Dwayne Washington Jr., did anyone even think he was going to stay around?
Well, lots of Suns Twitter did. They thought he was the second coming of Devin Booker.
He had a couple of good matches, man. But
He
Yeah,
did
but
have
was
a
he
couple of good
coming off the
matches.
two-way contract? Not this
No,
season.
he wasn't. He
you
never
remember
was.
I got in a lot of trouble with you, Gab, because I called Josh Okogie a faceless player because I had Dwayne Washington's face in my head when I was thinking about Okogie. So it's really not that big of a loss. In
Well,
my
it wasn't
opinion, I
faceless
think
player
Saban
today.
Lee is a much better player, and I think he's going to be better for the future.
Yeah, I think this comment rings true. I think Saban's better with the ball in hand, and he's a much better player to try and set up our offense off the back of Chris Paul showing him what to do. The fact of the matter is, both of these players are filling. They're filling a need until Cameron Payne comes back. When Cameron Payne comes back, Saban Lee's not going to play either. So,
Will
but I
Cameron Payne still be around?
Well, he may not. Who knows? We'll get into that in a second. Just one I want to touch on because of the blow up and all that sort of stuff. The NBA All-Star teams were selected this week. Obviously, we know about the fan vote and what a farce that is. But the reserves. What was your thoughts on the reserves in the NBA All-Star thing? My question is, do you think Devin Booker was snubbed?
It's hard to say this year because he hasn't played. I mean, it's always the talk of about MVP race as well as always how many games have been played. How's your team doing? The team hasn't been doing all that great without him. and
The
he hasn't
problem
played
is
half the season.
the,
on
pro-
most
the
seasons.
problem with minutes or games played and all that sort of info is the fact that Zion's in the All-Star game and so is Jaren Jackson Jr. and Book's played more minutes than both of those this season.
Right. Yeah, so it makes no sense. I mean, we're always going to call it a snub because he's our boy, right? But
I don't think it's a snub, right? Now, I don't think Devin Booker should be in the All-Star game. I don't think he's played enough games personally. But I also don't believe that Jaren Jackson Jr. or Zion should be in it either. I think there should be a minimum games requirement
Or Paul George.
with your All-Star game, and I'll get to Paul George as well. Paul George is a fucking farce. Like there's no way I'm watching.
Instead of voting for Kobe, voting for Paul George.
I mean, I find it hard enough to watch the All-Star game anyway, and I won't be watching it this year because it's fucking terrible. I hate watching it.
I've got to admit, yeah, it's lost it's fun on 2K when you're playing the All-Star game.
Yeah, but it's not competitive, right? You go back to the days of Jordan and Isaiah and Magic and where they actually fucking played the game. When it was All-Star game, they still got in their fucking shit and their fun and whatever else, but it was still competitive. People played defense.
It's becoming more and more like the NFL's Pro Bowl.
And I made the call previously. I'll say it again. They're better off scrapping the current All-Star game setup and make it the world versus the US because I think they'd actually get competitive and we'd see a game of basketball.
Good call.
But yeah, I don't think it's a snub for Book. Honestly, I would have had Anthony Edwards from Minnesota and De'Aaron Fox from Sacramento ahead of Book as well. But just for the NBA coaches and all that sort of shit that select the benches, you fucking embarrassed yourself by picking Paul George and Jaren Jackson Jr. Wake up to your fucking selves. It's embarrassing. It's a disgrace. Let's get into it. It is all out there. We're coming up to trade deadline. We know that Crowder's going to get moved eventually, but the biggest thing that's dropped in the last couple of days is the Kyrie Irving news. He wants to be traded. Flex just on Jam Session before, which was a great show and some great insight, as well as his Coast to Coast pod the other day. If you haven't checked that out, make sure you do. There's some really good info in there. What's your thoughts on the Kyrie thing?
I've got the same thought that Void has just dropped in the comments about the All-Star game. It's cunty. That's the one. I don't think I've had a positive thing to say about Kyrie since the rumors of him coming to us for Eric Bledsoe. I mean, my opinion of him has only gotten worse, and I think wherever he goes, if he ended up in LA for however reason, I think it would just add to the shit show. That the carousel of flying shit out of that place is just fucking hilarious.
Hammo, what's your thoughts?
Well, with all the new information that Flex has given us, thank you very much, Jam Session. We now basically understand that the Lakers are out of the running. At this stage, the Lakers are out of the running. The two main teams that are being talked about are the Dallas
Suns
Mavericks and the Phoenix Suns. So, all of that being
That
said,
explains John's comment earlier. So, sorry for being asleep while all that was happening. I'm catching up live on the pod.
I can't deny Kyrie's talent. You just can't. However, you're only as good as your last match, kind of thing. And I don't see over the last couple of years how he's benefited the game of basketball for any team that he's played on and would be worth the risk. It is a huge, huge gamble to play, man. And yes, CB3 is getting older. Yes, we do need a replacement point guard, but I'm sorry, man. I don't want Kyrie. A couple of years ago when he was traded from Boston, I was all for it. he's just got so strange since then. He hardly ever plays, and with the rumblings of Matt Ishbia meeting up with Steve Nash for whatever the reason was, I can't imagine Nash is going to have a lot of great words to say about Irving. I could be wrong.
About Kyrie, no.
I don't think so, man. And the rumblings about Isaiah Thomas being part of our front office going forward, and he is a point guard kind of thing, Kyrie. So that kind of leans the other way. But just personally, man, I love the brother, but I don't want to give him a shot. He doesn't want to sign with Boston because he wants security, something that he never fucking offered them. So it's a perplexing situation, man. But I don't want to trust Kyrie. I don't. If it happens, well, fuck.
Can you imagine the look on?
I just don't want him.
Can you imagine the look on Durant's face if a trade to Phoenix happened and Durant's just standing there going, "Wait, fucker, that's
I am of the complete opposite opinion to you there, Hammo. Kyrie Irving is a bucket. Kyrie Irving is a bucket. I only give a fuck about what he does on a basketball court, right? I couldn't, if he came to Phoenix, I couldn't give, if he wants the earth to be flat, all that sort of shit, I don't care. I want the Suns to win a chip. Now, everything that we've sat around talking about as Suns fans forever is we want a secondary ball, somebody to handle the ball, somebody who can create his own shots, somebody who can support Book by impacting the scoreboard. If you watch Kyrie with Kevin Durant, it's not like he plays the entire game ISO ball. He is more than happy to defer to his teammates. What he does on the court, I think he can do anything for this team. This is the cheapest you're going to get him in a trade. I think that Brooklyn's had enough and they absolutely have to and want to move on. He would be the perfect fit. Now, off the back of the Suns Jam session, it's going to happen. It sounds like if this does go ahead, it will involve Chris Paul. So it will be Kyrie coming in, Chris Paul going out. Now, the obvious the guys on the Jam session spoke about it. Chris Paul and Jay Crowder, along with picks, it works.
What's the contract on Kyrie? I must admit, I don't know how long he signed on.
So he's up. He's up to an extension now. So if we signed him, we'd have to sign him. If we traded for him, we'd have to sign him to the extension as well.
Right. Well, it's hard to deny any of the truth behind any of your comments. What you've said, what Hammo said, everything that's going on in the chat, the stats that Void has thrown out there. Even the truth that Fallen Founder's thrown out there about me being a fuckknuckle for some reason. It's hard to deny all those comments. So I guess you just got to give everything its merit, including Kyrie.
And I think Flex's point was valid in earlier today as well. His comment, and Boyd's just thrown me fucking right off here. But anyway,
if anyone was going to, right?
Boyd couldn't join us. Boyd couldn't join us today, unfortunately. He's young fella's a bit crook. But I think that if you're looking at Kyrie coming in for the longer term, I went on a rant before about CP3 and his impact on the team, and I absolutely still believe that. I still think that if nothing happens with Kyrie, we're still really well placed if we're healthy come the playoffs with whatever we do with Jay Crowder, because the team is playing some nice basketball. But I think we go to another level if Kyrie Irving comes into this team.
All right, here's something. Do you think CP3 and Book are consulted on this trade?
Yeah, absolutely. I do. Yeah. I absolutely do, particularly Book, maybe not CP3 if he has to be involved in the trade. But I'm sure that the communication will be there. James Jones will be telling him.
The other thing that that Flex was talking about is you're talking about Booker and CP3 okaying the trade. Well, it's kind of the same thing on the net side of things. KD has to approve the trade coming back to him. You know what I mean?
Who does?
Kevin Durant.
Why are we talking about Kevin Durant?
No. You're talking about trading Kyrie. Okay.
Yeah, trading for Kyrie, yeah.
Trading for Kyrie. And you're asking if CP3 and Devin Booker are going to have some input on it. Now, on the other side of the things, you can guarantee that Kevin Durant's going to be wanting to put some input on who's coming back for his fallen teammate. You know what I mean? Like Flex put it to you, said, do you want to bring Finney-Smith and I can't remember the other guy into your team, or do you want to bring CP3 and Jay Crowder? And he was saying that KD would be leaning more towards CP3 and Jay Crowder.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
he'll have that discussion with the Nets front office, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I
definitely think they'd be checking in with Book and CP3 to see where their heads at about the whole thing.
Yeah, all that does is just gives the opportunity, I guess, for KD to have his input with the front office. I don't think that's it just strengthens our position, I suppose, if KD turns around and they've got those two offers. But yeah.
Pretty fucking hilarious though, isn't it? That 4 months ago we're talking about KD coming to Phoenix, and now we're sitting here a few days before the trade deadline talking about Kyrie.
And I think
damn sure.
I think what Flex has intimated at as well over his podcast and again today is Kyrie comes in now, and in the off season there's another player that will come with him. So that's the suggestion at the moment.
Yeah, right. Where's all the money coming from to pay the other player?
Sorry?
Where's all the money coming from to pay the other player?
Get rid of
it'd have to be those contracts and everything like that. I don't know. Look, at the end of the day, it's going to be how they work through everything.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do with that other player's Ben Simmons?
I know what Hammo would do.
I had to say it, Hammo. Sorry, brother.
That's all right. I'll follow the NBL.
Look, it's all going to be about cap space, obviously, if that happens. So
it will be nice to that comment that Voida just made. It'll be nice having an owner that's willing to pay the tax if it's going to bring the chip.
Yeah, and I think every suggestion so far has been that he certainly will be. Totally. So that'll be interesting to see whether or not that's exactly what he'd do. My only concern with the whole Kyrie thing is the 4-year max extension with no restrictions. That's been brought up.
Is that the conversation? 4-year max. Yeah.
So effectively, he wants a 4-year max with no restrictions, and that's why we spoke about the Lakers. The Lakers, from an asset perspective, they're going to struggle. I don't think Brooklyn wants Westbrook, but the other concern
would they?
The other concern for the Lakers is they don't want to give him a 4-year max.
Yeah, they only want to give him what's left on LeBron's current contract. They want to match it up.
The big thing for Kyrie is if you look at the teams with max cap space at the end of the year, if he was to sign as a free agent somewhere else, they're not teams that Kyrie wants to go to. They're all the sides down the bottom end of the table, sides like Detroit, Houston, etc., etc. I just can't see it.
Well, let's not lose any sleep over it and see what happens in the next few days. Well, we got 4 days.
Everyone joining in on the live chat, you guys are awesome. This is what we do it for. There's some very, very funny shit going on down here. Thank you, Suns Geek. But yeah, no, please continue in the chat, guys. We love all your comments, man. We'll continue to put up the best ones that we can.
I think it's impressive how many of these guys have either watched all the pods, watched the game, watched the pods, and still watching this. Let alone, order
I've
having
seen a lot of
watched the
familiar
game,
names
ran a
in live
pod, now
chats that
watching
I've
a
seen
pod.
today, man.
Yeah.
Coda Kid, man, far out. Suns Geek dropping in. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
Good to see everyone. Thank
amazing.
you for jumping
Thank you,
in.
guys.
Thanks for watching, and thanks for commenting and getting involved in the show. Make sure you hit like. Make sure you hit like. Make sure you hit subscribe while you're here. Is there anybody else? There's been a couple of other discussions as well, particularly now around again one of my favourites. If the Kyrie thing doesn't play out, Jared Vanderbilt from Utah. So from what I can gather, or the rumours and stuff that floating around, is that Utah wants a first rounder for him. Is Vanderbilt something that you would like to see us pursue?
I mean, could we use him? Sure. I mean, could we do better? Probably.
Here's your shout out, Pugs and Hugs.
I'm more inclined to bring back Boss 99.
Is that because you bought that jersey while we're in Phoenix? He hasn't played one single game since you bought that jersey.
He has not played a single game for us since I bought this.
If we're going down that route, I've got a Dragic and an Oubre sitting in the closet, and I'll be happy to have any of them back. No, not true. No, look, after today's game, man, a name that we've thrown around a few times on the pod, only a couple of months ago, is that Saddiq Bey. Like, I don't know what's going on with his hair. It looks a little bit moldy, but he's got some talent, man, and he's imposing kind of size. Obviously, I've always talked about Steven Adams, but we're not going to go down that route again. But someone like him, man, a little bit more muscle, a little bit more grit. I think it'd be good to see. But, I'm still, me and Saul from the PH and X are on the same planet when it comes to it, man. We both think that DA should be playing the 4, and we look at a true centre. So, and I think it was 2 days ago, he brought up a damn good point about why, if you really want to do something and your boss isn't letting you do that, and you're sitting there sort of going, oh, well, fuck, this is my job, then you finally get the chance to do what you want. You're going to thrive in it, man. You're going to absolutely thrive in it. So I think it's worth giving him a shot. Giving him a shot at the 4 and seeing if it sticks, man. And then we look for another sticks. Seeing if we see if it works, and we look for another centre.
Yeah, why not? You know what? It worked in Minnesota. Let's just go get Rudy Gobert.
Fuck Gobert.
Fuck yeah, it worked really, really well.
You've got 47 picks to trade for him.
You know what? Clogging up the paint, having no ability to spread the floor. That sounds like a fucking great idea. I can't wait for us to do that.
DA wants to shoot more threes. Come on.
Come on.
It is just a fucking horrible idea. We would absolutely turn into Minnesota. I
guarantee you, DA is playing with himself on 2K. Oh, let me finish the sentence. He's playing with himself on 2K. And he's picked himself up the 3-point specialist or the corner specialist badges. I'm sure of it.
Oh, yeah. There's zero doubt about that. Voida wants Alex Caruso.
I'm with you, brother.
You can have him.
On the second part of that sentence, I'm with you.
I don't think we need Elmer Fudd. I don't think we need Elmer Fudd on our basketball team. But hey, look, he was okay in Space Jam, so I suppose. Any other suggestions?
One more point before we get completely derailed by stupid comments. MJ Day. So the day
no one fucking noticed it.
ESPN created it to pay homage to Michael Jordan, and the only reason I knew it existed was because I saw all the memes come out that Kyrie fucked MJ Day with his news. So I had to. Did anyone else get some lead into this being an important thing, or did ESPN drop this at the end of the last minute? Or
no, there was a lead into it.
Given it's the cover,
I don't know
All
whether
the
2K had
2K?
anything. No, it come about because it was the second of the, or the third of the second, or the second of the third, or I don't know.
23,
23.
And ESPN,
So that's
they
why
were
it was
just the
MJ.
first ones to jump on board and make something of it.
I'm assuming so. And then Kendrick Perkins got really upset because Kyrie requested a trade, and apparently he's not allowed to do that on
MJ Day.
MJ Day.
To think that Kyrie's ever been thoughtful
Radio.
about something that came out of his mouth is your first problem. Definitely a speak first, apologize later kind of guy.
Well, look, let's be honest. These guys have got a fucking career to deal with themselves. They don't give a fuck whether it's MJ Day.
Especially LeBron.
Jesus. All right.
You know he would have loved to. He's 36 points away from taking over Kareem, and you know he would have loved for that to have happened on MJ Day. You know he would have been sitting at night giving her an old crank, just fuck, please let it happen on MJ Day.
There's a lot of self-love on today's episode.
There's a lot of self-love in the chat as well. Let's be honest. Particularly from Boyd, who wants to get his nips out today.
You got your chance, Boyd. Come on.
All right, let's move on. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I still haven't created. We're bringing back thumbs up, thumbs down. We had to eliminate random Suns because Nate got cranky because he never got any right.
That's
so
actually very true.
Yep.
I
So
threatened to just drop off the pod if it came back on.
he made me get rid of it, and he said, "I want my segment back. I want my segment back. It's thumbs up, thumbs down was my segment. I want it, and we have to do it." So
I believe my comment was keep the cunt to 45 minutes, but either way.
Thumbs up, thumbs down. Question 1. Trading for Kyrie is the right move for the Suns.
Say it again.
Trading for Kyrie is
phrase these in such a weird way that I need to be careful.
Trading for Kyrie is the right move for the Suns. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Feel free to thumbs up or thumbs down in the chat too, guys.
Without further context, I'll go thumbs down.
Hammo.
Thumbs down.
I am a huge thumbs up. 2 thumbs up and a boner. And boners. Both thumbs up, thumbs down for Suns Geek. Apparently he's going to fuck our team from Boyd. 2 thumbs up and a boner. Boners up. Down for Pugs and Hugs. Up for Alias. Coda's 2 thumbs up. Yeah.
Moving
All
right
right.
along.
Dario Saric is nothing more than trade bait.
Yes, thumbs up. As in, I agree fully.
Hammo.
Unfortunately, I believe it to be a thumbs up. I wish it wasn't the case, but yes, thumbs up.
I am also a thumbs up. Replacing Dwayne Washington with Saban Lee was the right move.
Sure, whatever. Thumbs up. Yeah.
2 thumbs up, motherfuckers. Love that cat.
And the trade bait, yes. Boyd's a no. Boyd's a yes for Saban Lee replacing Dwayne Washington Jr. Coda Kidd's a yes.
Your comments. We've already got the consensus.
I'm a thumbs up for sure.
You're a thumbs
for
up.
sure.
So,
And because we really didn't get the answer before, and we've got a few more in the chat now, let's roll it again. Devin Booker was snubbed from the All-Star game.
I'm going to go thumbs down.
Without defining snub, but he's never recognised in these kinds of things, man. So, okay, he was snubbed. Always is.
I am a thumbs down. I don't think he was snubbed. Let's go back and talk about it. Trading for Kyrie is the right move. I think most in the chat were thumbs up, except for Boyd. who thinks
Me and
he's gonna-
Hammo both went thumbs down. I said with context, because the comment that Voido was making about what happens with CP3 in the off season, I think is the most important point there. I mean, if we're gonna pay him out, squash his contract, and lose that position anyway, then it's hard to say if you move him and someone that won't play on the court for Kyrie that it's the wrong decision. I mean, it's absolutely the right decision if you're James Jones. But if CP3 is going to keep doing MVP of the week, even a 3-day week sort of shit, and he's going to keep doing it next season as well, then it's hard to say what do we replace him with? Just someone that's going to last a bit longer? Because the attitude that CP3's brought to the team is fucking undeniable. Like when he's not on the court, you know. When he's on the court, you fucking know. So there you go.
Well, Hammo, any last comments on that?
You said it right there, man. Like, maybe get another year or so, and we might get more out of Kyrie, yeah, but you don't know if he's going to fucking show up or not.
Why don't you know? He showed up everywhere else.
Depends on the vaccine rules.
There's no. He didn't play last year because of vaccination rules. Apart from that, he's played everywhere.
No, I just don't trust him.
Except in the Kardashian pool.
Yeah, well,
that's a fair call.
If he comes to Phoenix, he's much closer. He's much closer if he comes to Phoenix. So for me, look, out of all of this, I'd love if the Suns maintained and kept Chris Paul in this, because I want Chris Paul to win a chip and I want him to win it in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. That's absolutely 100% everything that I want. He's coming to the end of his career. That dude deserves a chip. I don't want him to end up like Barkley. I don't want him to end up like Stockton and Malone. Guys that deserve a chip deserve to win one, and I want him to win one here. But if the trade for Brooklyn, they turn around and say it has to be CP3, then I'm taking that deal every day of the week.
All right, the next two.
Dario Saric is nothing more than trade bait.
Everyone was unanimous on this.
Yeah, I don't think we're
He's not.
We've called him a salary filler.
Actually, this is a very good point, but I don't think CP3 would be overly pleased with it. John, Kyrie comes, we win a chip. CP3. Kyrie comes, we win a chip. CP3 gets a ring. Yes, he would absolutely get a ring.
Kyrie and CP3 have got a great relationship, so maybe that's a scenario that could work. You never know.
It's I just don't know that. I don't think Chris would be overly pleased with the way of winning the chip that way. And I agree with this. Think of what people are proposing for OG: 3 first-round picks plus salary matching. Kyrie for CP3 and J is a motherfucking steal. Yeah, agree.
As far as Dario goes,
Dario goes,
we've been calling him salary filler since the bubble.
Yeah, no, look, it's been great to see Dario come in and play some meaningful minutes, I suppose, over the last week or so. But still, he frustrates the shit. That man is the king of fouling people who shoot shit threes. I've never seen somebody give away so many of those fucking fouls where he ends up under their feet. It frustrates the shit out of me. We all went thumbs up for the Saban Lee over D-Wash. I don't think we need to go into that anymore. And the All-Star stuff.
It really did cruise by pretty quietly too, though. You're right about the social media did not react a lot. I mean, I stay off the Twitter most of the time, but even the rest of the chats, the Bleacher Report and Reddit, you didn't see a lot of, it's like, meh, whatever.
KD and Kyrie for Jay. Who says no?
Is this 2K?
What was the last one there? Was your Booker snub?
We got trade approval turned off. Fucking hell.
Couple of was Devin Booker snubbed? I went thumbs down. Hammo, you went thumbs up.
Yeah, I went thumbs down. Mine was, we had the same thing, right? If you want to see a certain amount of games played, and then you want someone to get to the All-Star game healthy. And I don't really want to see Devin Booker's first game back from injury at the All-Star game, which is where it's getting to.
Yeah, well, it won't be because he'll play against the Nets. So
yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And I also don't think he's snubbed because he completely fucked my fantasy this year. So he was my second pick on my fantasy. I actually picked him up the second or first pick, and yeah, he's fucked me all season. So
yeah, I'm with you, but a little bit of 50-50 here for me because based on the fact that Jaren Jackson Jr., Paul George, and Zion Williamson are in there. But if you're going to base it on that, then Booker was absolutely snubbed. You've seen the performance of this team without that man in the team. But
is Triple J's ad based on the whole controversy around the stat padding from the bench?
Well, I think the only reason he made it is because the Memphis stat person fucking boosts his stats every week. But the guy is a walking foul. Every time that I see him play, he's not that impactful. That's just my perspective. I don't understand how he was even in the conversation as an all-star, to be honest.
He's not at that level yet.
There's 15 other players I would have had before.
Yeah,
Triple J.
And like Booker's injury obviously didn't help. He got injured like say a week maybe after All-Star voting started. So I don't know if he was taken off those lists or whatever it was, but he we get slept on, man. We always get slept on. It doesn't matter what it is, we get slept on. And it's the same thing, man. I don't know if people just don't like watching the Suns or they don't like Booker. I don't know what it is. But for us...
Well, here's an extension to that question. Is Mikal Bridges a snub?
The way he's been playing the last few games, yes, but it's only the last few games that he's always been good, but the last few games he has just cranked that motherfucker right up to 11. He
had a little slump when Booker first went out.
Yeah,
but he's
his role.
Before that, he was effective.
Yeah.
Think back to what Saul was saying from PHNX when he was on here. He was the thing that is the upsetting part about Mikal's performance or growth is the inconsistency. And for me, when you guys talk about should he be on the All-Star team, that inconsistency is what now, give it another year. If what we've seen in the last 2 weeks turns into the next 12 months, well, fuck yeah, he's in consideration. But
yeah, it certainly has to keep going. He has to keep doing it. But it infuriates me that Jaren Jackson made it on the minutes and even his numbers when they talked about the fact that he made it because of his team's record because they're second in the West. Well, why the fuck didn't DeAndre Ayton make it last year? Because his numbers were better and we were first in the West.
It's just the culture nowadays, man. Kids are into like a couple of players. They're into fucking Ja Morant, LaMelo Ball. You know, they're into your flashier kind of things like that. And they're probably most of the people with their thumbs on the bloody pad, man, just pushing the numbers through.
Well, they don't. Jaren Jackson is a Jaren Jackson and Paul George didn't get selected by the fans, man. They got selected by the coaches.
Fucking worse.
This is my point. It's just really cool.
Hell, man.
Anyway, gents.
I would kill everyone in this room for a drop of sweet beer.
So, Homer, please feel free to tell us anything.
Who do you want to have a beer with this week, Nate? I'll let you go first.
I do have an interesting one. Her name is MJ Day. So when I first saw the Kyrie thing and about ruining MJ Day, I'm like, it sounds too simple, but I've never heard of this. So I went to Google MJ Day, and the first thing that pops up is the editor for Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition. Her name is literally MJ Day. She's quite an appealing blonde, mature woman, and her Instagram is full of Sports Illustrated covers of swimsuits. So I thought that's an appropriate person to have a beer with this week. Let's go there. How about you, Hammo? Do you have something with a little
gold,
more depth than me?
A little bit, yeah. I'd just love to have a beer with Matt Ishbia. Just make sure we're heading down the right path. Make sure he understands what Phoenix fans are about, where we've come from, the heartache we've been through, and where we'd like to be. Yeah, Matt Ishbia for me.
Nice. For me, I want to have a beer. We received a photo yesterday from Justin from Fanning the Flames. Miss you, Justin. Shame you weren't in this chat. You would have loved it. Where he caught up with Coach Evan B from He's on Fire. Caught up with Mr. Voider, our favourite Mr. Voider, and Paul and a couple of other people. All went out to Marley's for a beer. I want to have a beer with that group because fucking John didn't come and have a beer with us when we were there last time. He was a bit busy. He was a bit busy at the time and couldn't make it. But
in the back section of Marley's.
Yeah,
that's the overflow. Why the fuck were they sitting?
Apparently, the feedback from Justin was that John demanded being in the overflow at Marley's.
Like I said, Dark Voider.
But that looked like good times. Well done, guys. I was jealous. I'm really looking forward to getting back over. And I start my new job Thursday, and it looks like I will be over in Phoenix in April. So I'm very excited about that.
Congratulations on the new role, sir, especially because it gets you to visit Singapore as well.
Yes, I'm very excited about the new role. So we'll just see how much that impacts my time. What'd you miss? You were pooping. Voider, we were talking about your catch up with Coach Evan B and Justin and Paul and whoever else was there, and the fact that you wanted to sit out the back of Marley's in the overflow, which was disappointing from our perspective. Gents, my next question.
Time for the flog of the week, and trust me, they are ugly, very unattractive. Google their face when you're done here.
Who's your flog of the week?
Nate. I don't have a name, but maybe someone could figure it out. Whoever the twat was that gave Kyrie the advice to threaten the Brooklyn Nets that if they didn't trade him before the deadline, that he would sit out for the rest of the season, that guy's the flog. It's a little too fresh for us. The whole Jay fucking Crowder thing hurts me, especially his fucking jersey. The whole Ben Simmons.
Did they do that?
Like,
Has Kyrie said that?
It's sitting here in a Bleacher Report article with Windhorst mentioned as well. But the Brooklyn Nets star Kyrie Irving is prepared to sit out the remainder of the season if he's not traded ahead of the NBA's February 9 trade deadline.
Right. Okay. I hadn't seen that.
So Stephen A. Smith reported it. Doesn't mean it's true. It just means it was said with a lot of high volume. But whoever the person that gave him that advice is my flog, because I'm fucking sick of seeing that. I'm sick of seeing people getting paid millions of bucks sit on the bench with hurt feelings. It's fucking bullshit.
Hammo.
All right, we're going to go a bit different. I don't know exactly how to pronounce the name. It's either Maya Jama or Maya Yama, Ben Simmons' ex-fiance. So Ben apparently asked for the $1.4 million ring back since they're no longer engaged, which I respect. And she's come out and said, we'll have a contest. Whoever hits the first free throw or a jump shot can have the ring. How dare you do that to Ben Simmons? He's a national treasure. Wake up to yourself.
I'm confused.
I'm really confused too.
So confused.
I have no fucking idea what's going on right now.
Every time, once every episode, he goes full Hammo on us, and I'm just sitting here going, "What the fuck did he just say?" I've got no idea. That was it. That was it right there.
That was it.
Yeah, that's kind of a little bit strange. I'm not really sure about it, but anyway.
Thanks for your consistency, brother.
Yeah, that's it. If we go through an episode where we're not shocked by what Hammo's done, It's it's yeah.
I'm
My
here
flog
to
of the week.
please and surprise.
My flog of the week is actually I don't really have a flog as such. Really,
On a
this
self-love
week.
episode, you don't have a
been-
vlog?
I've been really calm this week. No one's really upset me too much.
Tom Brady.
Last week, as I said, it was the Suns Jam Session chat and the PHNX chat because of the DeAndre Ayton hate. But this week, everyone's been great. I'm just
Look
not
at
that angry.
the positivity. Jeez,
Not
what
that
chats
angry
have you
this
been
week.
keeping out of with this level of positive
Yeah.
attitude?
I don't know. It must be the new job that makes
Yeah.
me happy and calm.
Mate,
And
after this pod, go into your bedroom and treat yourself to a 3-corner specialist badge.
If I go into my room, that won't be what I'm treating myself to.
To be clear, kids, he's got Snickers bars in the like dresser drawer. That's what he's talking about.
I do love a Snickers bar. Snickers is
Don't we
clearly
all?
the best chocolate of all time.
100%.
Gents, it's been fantastic once again. Great to have Flo on. The guys in the chat, you have been amazing. Thank you for engaging and making us laugh. To be honest, the chat was probably more entertaining than we were today, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We'll cop that.
I'm going to give you that too. My level
yeah.
of preparedness really bounced off this chat today. I'm going to have to circle back with Fallen Founder and find out what the fuck he's been talking about the whole time because I've got no idea. I didn't even know he had a daughter, let alone that apparently I added someone on Instagram or something. I have no idea.
Yeah, if I can jump in there and chuck that out, congratulations to Fallen Founder. Had a child yesterday.
That's what he meant by creating Suns Fans.
Yeah, so really happy. He's a good friend of the pod, good friend of ours. Yeah. Always a willing gentleman to jump in and give us a hand on the pod, or even just make us laugh with the comments, man. So congratulations, brother. Congratulations, all the best to you, the family, and the new one. Yeah, we love you, man. Seriously, all the best.
And he is the first guest on our show to ever literally pull out a fat cigar and just start smoking it on the pod. So
I hope
you're doing one in celebration of you.
For those that don't know Jake, he loves us too, and I can prove it.
Who are my Phoenix Suns best friends? Actually, great question. It's got to be John Voida, Matthew Lissy, Dave King is a very good dear friend of mine. That Gavin guy in that one country, and that Justin Niswabli. I don't know how to say his name, but they're all great people. Show the picture for the audience. Who are my?
He's of course our favourite Trump impersonator, yes. And congratulations, mate, on my daughter started crying only when Nate was talking.
That's just women in general with me, brother. That's fine.
He is one of our favourites. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Hammo, where can they find you? And last comments.
At Sir Hammo on Twitter. Like Gav's been saying, guys, like, subscribe, share, help us bump those numbers up. Numbers we bump up, we can start bringing you more exclusive content, better guests, things like that. So yeah, I'm glad to be back, guys. Glad to have a good time, have a good laugh, and hopefully everyone watching and listening's had a good time too.
Nate,
I'm going to take a different spiel. It's a new year. I've got to embrace some new things, and I think it's probably time I paid a little more, not a lot, but a little more attention to Twitter. So I am at Nicky's Falcon on Twitter. If you want to throw me a follow and a message, I'll find it when I'm deleting all the group chats that I get added to. So that's fine. That'd be good. I'll try and pay a little more attention to it. And for those that are asking, because I do get asked all the time, Nicky's Falcon was actually my favorite racehorse like 10, 15 years ago. So horse racing is a family hobby. So that's where that came from. No relation at all to anything relevant.
As long as it's racing, man, then it's all good.
And you can follow at Aussie Suns Fans for all your best, top-notch Aussie Suns Fans opinions, comments, and opinions, and all that sort of shit. You can follow me at Guesswork Gav. I rarely post or put anything Suns related on there. I generally do that all on the Aussie Suns Fans. Like, subscribe, do all that sort of fun stuff. I'm thinking our next episode, especially our next live, when the guys from the US can join us, of doing maybe a Q&A where they can all throw questions at us, stolen a little bit maybe from the Suns Jam session. They did one the other day. I thought that was a great idea, so we might throw that out, considering we're down here and everyone's always got some weird-ass questions for us, like how do we ride our kangaroos to work and whatever else. So we might do that in the next episode. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. It was great fun, especially in the chat, and we will see you all, I think, next Sunday, maybe, depending on whether or not Nate can be bothered.
Fuckers.
If he wakes up in time.
And I'm going to trial a couple of new sign outs, and I need to find my catchphrase. So the first one I'm going to trial is to sign off from today's pod. Boyd, go fuck yourself.
As Chris Paul gets in, another wide open three.
Pierre Cardin.
Defers to Booker for the long range.
P-H-O-E-N-I-X. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. P-H-O-E-N-I-X. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing.